I don't really know how to say this, so Outerbanks Season 2, we're coming back.
Season 2! Coming back for Season 2 on Netflix. You hear that, Austin?
What incident almost wrecked Season 2 of Outer Banks? Are we getting new cast members in Season 2? And how did the fans of the show influence one of Season 2's major storylines? Hi, I'm Joy, taking you back to Outer Banks. Riding the wave. Welcome back to the Outer Banks, where it's Cooks versus Pogues, a not-so-mystery treasure and a fight to see who will rule the island they call home. Turns out that there is some good news for all of us Outer Banks stans. Our favorite fictional summer romance just wrapped filming Season 2, and we're totally ready for another sun-drenched Netflix escape. So if you haven't been intensely following every cast member's Instagram page, you've been missing out because they just let us in on all the behind-the-scenes tea, and we're hooked. But did you know that we were almost robbed of a second season? Once again, the coronavirus pandemic threatened yet another show's production, which means that we almost didn't get to find out what happened at the end of that major cliffhanger. According to the production crew, everyone was itching to get their toes back in the sand, their skin glowing again and reigniting the good old Pogues versus Kooks feud. But there would have to be some strict regulations. For starters, everyone would have to strictly quarantine for 2 whole weeks before they could all be reunited. In order to minimize the potential of the virus moving onto the set, it was decided that Season 2 would be a 100% closed-off set. No one comes in, and no one goes out. We can only imagine that the cast and crew grew even closer, especially Madeline Klein and Chase Stokes, who just recently celebrated their 1-year anniversary. With Maddie posting the cutest Instagram post for their anniversary, captioning the image, "Thanks for helping me keep track of my belongings for a whole year. Smiley face. Adore you." Yep, it looks like their on-screen chemistry translated to real life too. So they'll probably be the first people to tell you that their offset love helped them get through the hardships of filming in the midst of a pandemic. I mean, who wouldn't want to be quarantined with their best friends and significant other? In the Bahamas even. So while we're pretty sure everyone would have preferred an open set, fewer masks and less swabs to the nose, we just can't help but love this cast even more.
12, 13, 14, 15.
Alrighty. Happy Monday.
They clearly worked hard to bring Outer Banks back, and we couldn't be more grateful. But does that mean that we're still getting the same cast? The Great Return. It's pretty impossible for you to have gotten through Season 1 without making any attachments to any of the characters. From our favorite lovers to the vengeful villains, we've grown to love and hate them all. But does that mean that everyone was willing to come back in Season 2? Well, with a tight schedule, strict travel restrictions, and on-set COVID rules, rumors began spreading that there could be some major casting changes. But you don't have to panic because every single character is coming back. Yes, the rumors were totally fake. All the Poes, including Chase Stokes, Madison Bailey, Ruby Pankow, and Jonathan Davis, will all be coming back. The Kooks will be back too, so you can expect to see Madeline Klein, Austin North, and Drew Starkley showing up on your screen once again. And we know he's a villain and he's totally wrecking the Pogues plan, but good old Ward Cameron will be back and will still be played by Charles Eston. And you have to admit, he plays a good Ward. But it turns out that we'll also be introduced to some new characters too. While the show is trying to keep the new additions a secret, we did find out some insider tea that Elizabeth Mitchell, who you might recognize from Lost and Once Upon a Time, will be in Outer Banks Season 2. Yup, her character's name is Limbri, and she's a, quote, compelling woman with a level of toxicity and menace underneath her seemingly courteous ways, according to the show's producers. We can't wait to see how she will influence the show's storyline. But on the topic of the show's new plot, what can we expect in Season 2? Mapping out the storylines. Okay, let's throw it back to that Season 1 finale. Obviously, we know that Sarah Cameron and John B were in the midst of the most dramatic storm. Thankfully, their flight or fright instincts kicked in, and they managed to survive and make their way to the Bahamas. And so, naturally, Season 2 will start off with us following their adventures in the Bahamas as the gold is hidden there in this new location. However, don't worry too much that these two will be separated from the rest of the Kooks for too long, because at some point in the second season, Sarah and John B will be making their return back to the Outer Banks. But brace yourselves because it won't be all smiles and open arms when these two get back. According to reports, there'll be a major mystery that they'll have to overcome as soon as their boat docks and they're back home. Not much of a warm welcome, huh? Besides Sarah and John B being in full survival mode across the coast, we see that the rest of the Kooks are trying their hardest to cover up Sheriff Peterkin's murder. And let's just say they'll definitely have their work cut out for them. Never mind the fact that they fully believe that John B and Sarah are dead. But if you thought that was all too much for one season, just know that the show's writers aren't holding anything back. They plan on unleashing a few more twists and turns and all of the drama too, which only leaves us with a few more questions that we desperately need answers to. Like, will we see more love stories blossom? Will they eventually find the gold? Will the rest of the Pogers in Outer Banks be okay? Will Ward be arrested? So much to unpack in so little time. And while the show's producers are promising a fun season with all the good things we love, they did share a few things to hold us over until the trailer drops. And it can only be described in 2 words. Spoiler alerts.
As much as I would love to sit here and spoil the entire season, I can't and I won't because I'm super excited to...
If the title wasn't enough of a warning, we're just going to give you another heads up that some major Season 2 spoilers are coming up. So continue on at your own risk because we got some serious tea to share. Remember when Kiara and Pope kissed? Well, it seems Sarah and John B aren't the only 2 lovebirds anymore because Season 2 will explore the possible fireworks between Kiara and Pope this time around. And well, this new love story has a lot to do with you. Yes, you, the fans. Turns out that the writers weren't too sure about exploring their potential romantic chemistry, but after fans bombarded Twitter saying they want to see their relationship blossom, the writers decided to include it. And we just love that you guys had such a big say on one of the show's major storylines. We also heard that in Season 2, Sarah Cameron is coming into her own. Yeah, she's no longer going to be meek and mild. Expect her full-on rebellious side to come out even more than before. And Madeline Klein is totally here for her character's new persona. We continue to see Sarah come into her own and grow into this badass, she explained. I want her to match John B's crazy, like a Bonnie and Clyde type dynamic between them. That sounds like a lot of fun to play as an actor. So it looks like Sarah is growing up and won't be under the control of her father ever again. And the proof will be in her great return to Outer Banks. But the major changes aren't just happening with Sarah. In Season 2, we're getting a major location change. New season, new place. Yep, the Kooks and the Pogues were all put on a first-class ticket to the Bahamas. Whilst Season 1 was filmed in South Carolina, Season 2 got a more tropical update and came with a brand new location. Prepare to say hello to more palm trees, sandy beaches, and crystal blue waters, all courtesy of the gorgeous new film spots. We'll definitely have at least a part of Season 2 that'll take place in the Bahamas, but it'll all come back to the Outer Banks because that's our spiritual home, explained the show's creator, Jonas Pate. But it doesn't look like it's all sunshine and rainbows over at Outer Banks.
Sounds like there's a reoccurring theme here.
Because according to the cast, a major theme of Season 2 is revenge. Yup, the Kooks are mad, and they're not shy about letting everyone know. They have revenge on the brain and will stop at nothing to get what they want. Their presumed next moves? Taking back the treasure from Ward and clearing John B's name. Madison Bailey, who plays Kiara, told 17 magazine that she thinks the Pogues will be seeking revenge over the assumed demise of John B. There's gonna be a whole new dynamic, she explained. How do you go about life without your best friend? I think it's going to be rough on everyone. Apparently, it looks like in Season 2 we will see John B's luck run out. While he's definitely had his fair share of getting away with his masterful plans and tactics, it looks like Season 2 is the end of his lucky strike. I don't know how many lives John B's got left at this point, Stokes tells Bustle. Madeline Klein agrees that the couple is totally living on borrowed time. I think at some point we will see what they're running from catch up to them, she says. And all we can say is that we love a happy ending, so let's hope that John B's luck comes back soon. Premiere Day. So, we've covered how our favorite characters are absolute champs in real life and still managed to film an entire season in a pandemic. We found out that they're super dedicated to the show and all returned for the second season. And we looked at some of the major spoilers and plot twists that we can expect from the Kooks and Pogues. I guess all that's left for us to do is finally reveal when the second season will be dropping. Drumroll, please. It is rumored that the show will return to Netflix in the summer, and while we know that you are probably looking for a specific date that you can mark off on your calendars, we promise to keep you updated once we find out more. So you'll have to wait a little longer for all that summer love, drama, and water vacation vibes that the Outer Banks are known for. That being said, we want to know if you'll be tuning in for Season 2. We'd also like to hear which of the Season 2 spoilers you find most surprising. Let us know in the comments section below, and as always, thanks for watching.